off the back of that, what do you think are the biggest challenges that future leaders are going to encounter in their careers?
Sure. So I think there's a number of them. So we're moving into uncharted territory in many ways, which I think is exciting. What I see also is our traditional way of getting leaders ready for the more senior leadership roles in terms of MBAs are not as easily adaptable and relevant. They don't change as quickly to help leaders just have the capabilities that they need. There's going to be, I think, a lot more uncertainty, which then says to me, you want leaders who will know what they know technically, because that's important as a base that you're working from, but that are comfortable with not knowing everything, and that are comfortable to then say, here's what I know, here's what my position is, but we work in a bigger, diverse organization. My perspective is not the only right perspective. Let me hold my truth, but hold it lightly, and then have an opportunity to hear all these diverse perspectives, because the answer sits somewhere in between, and it doesn't sit with one individual. So I think that's the first one. If a leader is able to do that, it's great. The second piece that I'm seeing more and more, especially with COVID, is our leaders have had to just change how they think about work, productivity, and managing teams. So our traditional leadership is, I see you, you there, we there in the office. Because I see you, I'm assuming you are working and you're being productive. And because you leave later than I do, you're even super productive.
Yeah.
Now, this world of COVID has changed all of that. I don't get to see my team unless there's a scheduled Zoom meeting or I call them. They could be doing whatever they are doing, who knows? But the leadership I think that's required now is one that is around trust. You need to have that level of trust with your team, especially with remote working or flexible working. You need to be output driven, not I see you, therefore I expect you, I say you're delivering. What is contract on the output, and be clear. And that's all you measure. What they do between when you contract and when the output is delivered doesn't matter, as long as that output is really delivered. And that's a challenge, right? Because it's not everybody is wired like that. And the third one is around leading with empathy. And I mean, there's a lot of studies that have been done around empathy, vulnerability, which, if I think of traditional leadership schools, it's like you don't do that. And that's why, for me, that EdCon feedback to say you care too much, you wear your heart on your sleeve, you'll never succeed. And that was right for that time, right? Because all the leaders, when I looked generally, did not have those qualities, because those were not the qualities that made you succeed in a big organization like that. But I think that the tide is changing. It's exactly those qualities that are going to help leaders connect with their teams better and help their teams feel supported, even in the Zoom world, and help their teams feel that actually my boss doesn't know everything. And it's okay, because her job is not to know everything.
Yeah.
And because those are kind of qualities that come naturally to me, I've led with that within Masmart. And that's why before with the interview, I told you, I feel that I'm in a position and in an organization that has just given me the space to lead the way that I am naturally, and that is authentic to who I am, which you can't ask for more. So we need the empathy, we need the vulnerability. And usually I'm the first one to say to the team, oh, this I find confusing. Help me understand. It's unlike saying, I don't agree. And sometimes I don't agree. But instead of saying, I don't agree and you attack, it's saying, okay, help me help me see things from your perspective, because there's something maybe I'm missing. And that limits the defensiveness. People are open. And in some instances, I'm able to jump and see it from their perspective. And then I can say, oh, okay, now from a different angle, I can see how you could have come to this conclusion. It just makes the relationships better. And all you want at the end of the day, said, if you think about it, the bottom line is you want an employee or an associate who says, I work in this organization, I love what I do, I am stretched in my role, so I'm contributing, but I'm also learning, because that combination is important. I have support from my leader, and yes, things will go wrong. And if they don't go wrong, then you're not taking enough chances, right? And you're not pushing yourself.
Yeah.
They will go wrong. But there's a way of taking accountability, fixing them, learning the lesson, and moving on. And then for the person to say, I'm actually thriving in this organization. Why would I want to move to a competitor for a 10%, 20% increase? When people talk retention, and this is what I normally say to my team, the minute we think retention, we think money. It's not money. Yeah. It's all these things we're talking about that make the person to even decide not to pick up that call from a headhunter. It's not the money. Because the money equalizes. Yeah. At some point, they'll give you this one will give you that. You can't just use money to retain. It's how you lead. It's the fairness, the support, the challenge, the empathy, and for your team to know that when things have gone wrong, because they will, you are the first person that they want to pick up the phone to and say, oh, I messed up. Yeah. But let me tell you how I'm going to fix it. Yeah. And then it's okay.
So, I mean, it's really, and all of those elements really speak to, I think from a skill set perspective, really speak to just having this really strong sense of self, because if you are confident in who you are and what you bring to the table, you can trust your employees, you can see their perspective, you don't want to be the smartest person in the room, you want to, be part of a team that's always stretching and that you are stretching as well. Yeah. So, I agree on all counts on that side. And I'm going to just jump these in the other direction, but if you could say, like, what is the one thing that somebody that's listening to this, that, that has aspirations of leadership in the employee experience space, and one thing that you want to say to them and to people that are already working as leaders in this space? What is the one piece of advice that you'd give them?
Sure. So the one piece of advice out of everything else is start by listening to what your employees want. What does that experience mean for them? Don't start by telling them what you think they want. It's not going to work.
100%. That's the first part of a conversation, is be a great listener.
Sure.
And how can our listeners connect with you? What is a good forum that they can hear more of your thought leadership?
So I think LinkedIn is a better forum. Although when I've posted stuff, then it gets so busy and I'm thinking I need somebody to help me manage these responses. But I think it's a good forum to connect with. And there it's Liziwe Masoga. I keep Facebook for my close friends and family, because then I can talk about just stuff that doesn't have to be professional. So LinkedIn would definitely be a better option to connect.
Okay, perfect. And thank you so much. I enjoyed that hugely, and I think there was some really amazing insight there. And then you've had such an unbelievable career and a journey, and I am going to be following your science experiment on yourself to see what you're capable of.
Thank you very much. I was on a call with our team on a town hall a week ago, and I heard this saying, which I thought was absolutely, it encapsulates how I feel, where they were saying, you are your ancestors' wildest dreams.
Oh, I love that. I'm right.
That when I heard it, I thought, oh my word. Like if I think back to my ancestors,
Yeah.
and if they had to dream big, you know, that's, so I thought, yeah, and for a lot of people, I think that's starting to happen. Especially people that just would never have thought sitting on this call, being in these organizations would matter, would happen. And that's why for me, everything else being said, it's always important to not forget where we come from and think about the difference that we want to make in people's lives every single day with the decisions we make. Every day.
Yeah, the ability to impact and change.
Yeah.
Thank you. That is amazing. I'm gonna, oh wow, no.